For a lot of us, budgets feel like a black box, right? Just a giant, confusing spreadsheet of numbers and line items. But what if a budget could be more than that? What if it could actually tell a powerful story about what your organization is trying to achieve?
Think about it. When you look at your organization's budget right now, what do you see? Is it just a list of costs? Salaries, supplies, rent, a simple rundown of where the money's going? That's kind of how we're all taught to think about it. But what if we just flipped that whole idea on its head? Imagine your budget wasn't just about what you spend, but about what you actually accomplish. That's the core idea we're going to unpack today, turning that boring expense sheet into a strategic plan for making a real-world impact.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at why traditional budgets just don't cut it. Then we'll dive into a much smarter way called program-based budgeting, or PBB for short. We'll break down its core components, check out the tools that keep everyone accountable, and finally, see the action cycle that makes it all work.
Okay, so let's start with that big fundamental problem. Why do so many budgets feel completely disconnected from the actual mission? It's like the money's over here and the important work is way over there. Why is that?
Well, the main issue is that traditional budgets are all about inputs, how much money we're putting in. They don't have a built-in way to connect that spending to the organization's actual goals. And that creates this huge gap, right? It makes it almost impossible to measure your real impact or even know who's accountable for the results. You know you spent the money, sure, but do you have any idea what you actually got for it?
That exact frustration is what leads us to a much better way. If the old method creates a disconnect, the solution has to build a bridge. And that solution is called program-based budgeting.
At its heart, PBB is all about creating a direct, unbreakable link between the money you put in and the results you want to see. It's a huge shift in thinking. You're no longer just funding departments or line items. You're funding the specific work that achieves your mission.
Now, to build a budget like this, you absolutely need a clear blueprint. We have to really define the core components, the very DNA, if you will, of our mission-driven work.
The fundamental building block here is the program. And this is really important. A program isn't just another word for a department. Think of it as a focused project, a specific set of actions all designed to hit one particular goal. This is what gets the funding.
With that idea in place, the budget itself gets a brand new, much more powerful definition. It's no longer just a list of expenses, it becomes a strategic financial plan. Its whole job is to channel money to the programs that are best at achieving the organization's goals.
So how does a program know what it's supposed to be doing? That's where objectives come in. These are the crystal clear, specific, and measurable targets for each program. An objective isn't some vague wish. It's a concrete goal that gives you direction. Something like, reduce homelessness in our city by 10% this year. And if objectives are the target you're aiming for, then outcomes are the proof that you actually hit it. Outcomes are the real-world, tangible changes that happen because your program existed. This right here is the ultimate measure of success. It's not about how busy you were, it's about the difference you actually made.
Okay, so we've got our blueprint, programs with clear objectives, all designed to create real outcomes. But how do we actually measure success and make sure we're on the right track? Well, for that, we're going to need a toolkit.
To make any of this work, you need performance metrics. These are just the specific, quantifiable numbers you track to see if a program is really succeeding. They turn vague feelings about progress into cold, hard evidence. Are we serving more people? Is our cost per outcome going down? Metrics give you the answers.
And just look at the difference this makes. On the left, all we know is that we spend $50,000, okay? That's a financial fact, but it tells us nothing about the value. But on the right, that same 50 grand is tied directly to an outcome. We know exactly what we achieved. This is the kind of clarity PBB brings to the table.
Now, building on that clarity, we can do something really smart called a cost-benefit analysis. This is where we start making truly strategic decisions. It forces us to ask a simple but incredibly powerful question: are the results we're getting worth the money we're spending? This helps organizations prioritize the programs that deliver the absolute biggest bang for the buck. So we have the blueprint, and we have the toolkit. The final piece of the puzzle is the engine, the active, ongoing process that puts all of this into motion and just keeps it running. See, the PBB process isn't a one-and-done thing. It's a continuous cycle. First, you allocate your resources to programs based on the outcomes you expect. Second, you are constantly evaluating their performance using those metrics we talked about.
And third, and this is the magic step, you use that data to improve things and make even smarter decisions for the next budget cycle. It's a constant loop of learning and getting better.
And that's really the key to this whole system. These 8 terms we've gone over, from programs and budgets to metrics and evaluation, they aren't just a random list of buzzwords. They are all deeply connected, all designed to do one thing: measure the actual results you get for the money you spend.
So, what's the ultimate takeaway here? It's really this: connect every single dollar you spend to a tangible result. To do that, you have to shift your focus away from expenses and onto outcomes. Use clear metrics to prove your impact and turn your whole budgeting process into a constant cycle of learning and getting better. Which really leaves us with one final crucial question to think about for your own organization. Is your budget simply a tool for measuring what you spend, or is it a powerful engine for measuring what you truly achieve?